What is up, guys? Welcome to This Week in Wrestling by the Straight Edge Wrestling podcast. We've got quite a bit to talk about this week, news and shows and stuff. Before we get into all that, please like and subscribe to us here on YouTube on this channel. It means a lot. Head on over and follow us on Twitter, which is up above at SEW_podcast. What do you think of the week?
It's been an interesting one.
It has.
I got to admit, I almost didn't watch NXT if Finn Balor didn't win the title because I managed to see a quick highlight before I watched the show. If he didn't win, I was boycotting it.
After they gave a fuck finish last week with Finn, after an hour-long match, it was good. Obviously, right the way from All Out through to SmackDown last night, there was a hell of a lot of stuff which went on. But and also a lot of news. We'll talk about the news and then we'll sort of give our thoughts about the shows. So let's start with probably what the biggest news of the week was. Two of the biggest bits of news, but Matt Hardy at All Out took a hell of a spill from a cherry picker down, missing the table, hitting his head in the concrete. And everyone just basically shit their pants collectively that he was seriously concussed.
Well, he was fucked. He couldn't move.
Yeah, he
tried to stand up and collapsed.
Yeah, Sammy tries to pick him up. You can see his legs are just not there, and he falls. He tries to stand up again. He falls over. But
at that point anyway, Audrey had already straight away done the X-ring.
Exactly. Aubrey's thrown the X multiple
somehow
times.
The two competitors don't bother, and then nobody else is coming over. And at that point, I'm wondering if someone's now trying to give Audrey other signs and saying, "No, carry on."
Right, exactly. And so there's been a lot of fallout from this. Luckily, we know Matt Hardy's okay now, thank God.
The man that can't die.
Yeah, I mean, he even made a joke about it on AEW this week about, I'd like to say I'm the man who can't die. I'm just the luckiest man alive, sort of thing. Obviously, his wife, Rebby, was losing her absolute shit all week on Twitter, rightfully so. Basically, everyone's sort of come to the conclusion that the only person not to blame for all of that stuff right there was Aubrey. Aubrey was the only person doing exactly what she should have done. She was throwing her ex up multiple times and trying to get them to stop. And for whatever reason...
I did quite like the bit in the end. She pushed Sammy away. Then it was like, yeah, seriously, X, fuck off.
Yeah. She lost it at that point. Like, no, go away. Like, I get it. Sammy was just
as soon as he couldn't stand back up by himself, she was like, no, get him over. It's definitely done now.
Yeah. So Tony Khan, after the show, says that Matt Hardy went through concussion protocol during that small period of time in which we didn't see them from the back to the
whole 5 minutes. That's how you do one, is it?
Yeah. If that's their concussion protocol, they need to completely reconsider fucking everything about their concussion protocol, because that is not okay. You don't just get examined out the back quickly just so you can continue and do a finish. Come on. It's just everyone who watched that realized what happened. If they'd have just called it off, people would have just understood, right? Like, no one's going to moan. No one's going to be like, oh, but Matt couldn't stand up, therefore that's the end of his career. Come on. It's fixed. Like, it's scripted. You can get around all that shit. Come on. I don't know. I think the idea that they're going to let someone continue a match after that is a bit worrying, especially after earlier in the evening we had the Battle Royal where Darby Allin was put in the body bag and thrown over the top. And people were like up in arms about that, about just that is just one of the most dangerous things. And, Darby's injured now because of that. And I'm sure it was his idea.
I thought Darby was made out of elastic.
Yeah. Well, he just breaks something and he's like, oh, whatever, Karen. And but Brian Alvarez made a great point this week where it's like, at some point in time, Tony Khan has got to figure out how to say the word no to people. He's got to figure that one out, because wrestlers are always going to come up with these crazy ideas and you've got to tell them no at some point, because someone's going to get hurt otherwise.
Well, let's be honest. How many times now has Darby Allin got himself injured now? Things.
Such a short career. He's been injured way too many times. Like, Matt Hardy and Sammy Guevara are always going to want to push and do whatever to try and, or Matt Hardy's going to want to try to do whatever to get Sammy over because that's the sort of person he is. But there's going to come a point where you can just say no.
Unfortunately, that one could have worked out quite well. Unfortunately, the table was just put in the wrong place.
Yeah, and apparently they had stuntmen do the stunt earlier that day, which tells me they had the stuntmen do it and then they moved the damn tables. or they ran it at such speed or whatever, But it's one of those things where it was easily avoidable. They could have had a bigger surface area for them to land on anything. And
but at the end of the day, what happened, but it's just how they dealt with it afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. It is. It's bad image on them, and then you've had lots of people rushing to their defense, and I don't think you can defend it at all. I think
it's quite funny because how many people jump to WWE's defense in these things?
Exactly. Like that's the thing. It's like, look, the spot. These spots we've seen a million of, and we've seen Shane McMahon fall off a freaking Titantron and stuff.
That's because Shane McMahon knows how to fall well better than any other fucking stuntman you'll ever meet.
Yeah, but like it's not so much the stunt as much as it is, as you say, how you deal with it afterwards. And they dealt with it extremely poorly afterwards. Yeah. And then you've had people like Dave Meltzer playing lots of, well, what about when WWE, what about when Kairi Sane was injured by Nia Jax? Well, firstly, that was on a taped show. They checked her out properly and then continued the show afterwards. So it wasn't on a live thing where they just paused it for 30 seconds. And then he also was, what about Goldberg and Undertaker? That should have been stopped. Neither of those two people were knocked unconscious for 42 seconds on a live broadcast. I don't know. There's no other sport on this planet where if you're unmoving for 42 seconds, you just continue. No way. Not on boxing, not in UFC.
Football. I don't know. Actually, there are some UFC ones where the referees aren't paying attention. So.
Oh yeah, they're just wailing on them for ages. Yeah,
they're choking them out, and by this point, there's no air going to them, and they're actually dead.
Yeah.
I've seen a few things on YouTube about it, sort of thing. So the UFC is a bit of a rusty thing. Depends on the referee in the match.
Yeah, but if someone's just laying there unmoving for 42 seconds, you'd expect most of the time someone to realise, maybe this ain't going well. But anyway, all we can hope is basically from this is that AEW establishes a proper concussion protocol. I mean, since Benoit, since Eddie, WWE doesn't really fuck around with concussions. They really don't.
Yeah, but you would have thought in this modern day thing now, for medical wise anyway, they would have had this in place as everyone understands
absolutely
how bad it is.
Absolutely. Yeah, you'd have thought that they would have had a CTE thing in place immediately. Yeah.
WWE at the time didn't fully understand things, and then they started to learn things. And
exactly. Like people, I know people like to look at WWE and like to blame them for, The Rock hitting Mankind in the head with a chair all those times and stuff. And it's like, yeah, it was bad, but we can say that now because it's a different time. We know about it now. But yeah, it's like Sammy throwing that chair at Matt Hardy's face a few weeks back. That sort of thing where everyone just sort of cringes when those sort of things happen now because we know what happened to Benoit. We know what happened to Eddie. We've seen it. But yeah, hopefully they just have some sort of proper comprehensive change of some kind. I don't know. But also this week we had this. This is bizarre. This is a real bizarre one. So WWE, Vince McMahon has a call with all of the wrestlers, and he says to them that they have to, within 30 days, terminate their services with any third-party apps such as Twitch, Cameo, if they're doing YouTube shows, anything like that. Because WWE owns the IP, they own their likeness, they can't use any of these services. So lots of wrestlers.
So Xavier Woods is fucked then.
Well, that's owned by WWE. So Up, Up, Down, Down is a WWE property. They bought that from Xavier. So he's good on that account. But yeah, there's lots of superstars which aren't very happy. And that's why on AEW at All Out, Kip Sabian done that thing where he was like, follow my Twitch. And it came up on the bottom, approved by AEW. As a little bit of a dig, which fair enough, because that's fucking insane. They are independent contractors.
What's Paige got to do now then?
So
she's on the contract with them, but
she said, "Well, I'm not shutting down my Twitch. I'm just going to change everything to Soraya Knight, and basically they can bite me because they don't own that at all, so they can't control that. Even though in the call which Sean Ross Sapp had got hold of, on Fightful Select, Vince McMahon said something along the lines of, they own your real names too, whilst you're under a contract with WWE. They own the ability to abuse your real names and do whatever they wish with that and your likeness. So once again, this just throws up, they are not employees with the WWE.
Well, maybe WWE may have to rethink how they go about it, because it sounds like they are trying to say they are employees.
Yeah. Well, there's quite a high-profile politician in America called Andrew Yang. He was running to be the Democratic nominee for president before Joe Biden, and he tweeted out a massive rant basically saying that when or if Joe Biden becomes president and Andrew Yang may become the Secretary of Labor, that his first target will be Vince McMahon and the WWE's classification of independent contractors, because he said they're being screwed out of money, rights, health insurance, etc., etc. So
it could be quite fun for what's happening over in this country with it eventually.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, right here we're having a parliamentary group look into the classification of wrestling and how it's managed here by an all parties parliamentary group. So it's quite interesting, the fact that this independent contractor thing, it could come crumbling down. I mean, if politicians like Yang and others have their way, it will do, because I think this sort of thing is going to piss a lot of people off. Cameo is one of those things where you pay celebrities to send a video message or whatever.
Yeah.
Big E and Roman, they're making six figures off of Cameo a year.
Yeah.
So if you're telling them that they've now suddenly got to lose hundreds of thousands of dollars, well, they're going to want that money somewhere else, And that's what Big E said. Big E said, well, I think I'm going to need to be recompensated in some way, or we're going to need contract negotiations.
Or I'm going to Impact.
Yeah, Impact, I don't know. That's a weird one. But talking about Twitch, we had the debut of Rusev, Miro, this week. I mean, we'll talk about AEW later, but what do you think about the debut?
Crap.
Underwhelming. Yeah.
As he walked out, he looked like I want to be hench version of Eminem.
Yeah, the blonde hair is a look, that's for certain. Wearing all Gucci, it's not really I don't know. And he's still got the Bulgarian flag colours on the best man, which is obviously his gimmick now. The best.
Apparently, he's the best at everything he does.
I did find that, I don't know, a bit bizarre. His first line was, "I'm the best at Twitch, gaming, and also wrestling." You think, okay, so wrestling comes after your Twitch streaming, does it?
Well, apparently, after his WWE career, yeah, apparently.
Yeah, obviously, you had to cut that little promo on WWE about shove your brass ring up your ass. Clearly, Vince McMahon.
I'm just like that right now. Why are they all coming over to AEW just to do that? Be different, Why bother?
Yeah. I mean, they know it's the cheap.
Why even bother acknowledging bloody Vince McMahon if you're unhappy with it? Who gives a shit in the end?
Yeah.
Move on with it. Proving why they should have fucking used you properly.
Yeah, exactly. Like they've all been taking pops, and I agree. It's like, how about you just prove you're better than that? How about you just do it? Because we've seen a million people. Yeah, John Moxley, when he left, he'd done the Jericho podcast, and he didn't really take pops. He was asked questions, answered them. Yeah, very truthfully.
One thing Moxley hasn't done well in a wrestling show is take a dig at WWE or Vince.
Yeah, exactly. Because he doesn't need to. He's just like, hey, I'm going to come over here and prove that I'm better than most of you. But
he's taken the pops when he's been asked a question. So in interviews, it's different. Right, interviewing someone out of the thing, doing it in a TV show is just why bother?
Yeah, exactly. All you're doing is you're reminding people that there is another wrestling show. Like, as they always used to say, if you're number one, you don't talk about number two, and vice versa. And all you remind people is that you are the
Let's
number.
Be honest, you learned from Eric Bischoff's mistake when he was telling people about the thing he did. Oh, Mick Foley's going to win the title tonight, and everyone at that point, later on that night, at that time, tuned over to watch Mick Foley win a belt.
Yeah, Bischoff's exactly. Yeah, Bischoff's spoken about it loads of times that like maybe they gave Vince too much credit a lot of the time, by using Vince's name and talking about WWE all the time, giving WWE airtime on 2 channels, basically, by talking about them. Yeah, and I agree. I think people need to sort of just take a step back from that.
So,
But what do you think about Raw, All In?
I quite enjoyed the show. Started off with a bit of a bang. Yeah. I'm wondering if now Randy Orton's going to have a fractured jaw himself. I don't know.
Yeah, I enjoyed the Drew bit. I enjoyed the end, and there was a couple of bits in the middle which I enjoyed, but overall, I just thought it was a bit lackluster. There was a lot of
I
shows.
don't know. I quite enjoyed the whole Cedric finally joining here. Oh God!
Hurt
I'm about to say here comes the pain. The Hurt Business. But then what irritated me is the fact that we just had it from a 6-man tag team, and then later on it turned into an 8-man tag team, and you're like, you could have just saved this bit for next week.
Yeah, and Ivar got injured, I believe, during this match. And
when he jumped out over the ropes.
Yeah, and I've not heard. I was just trying to look now. I've not heard any more updates on him, so I don't know if he's better now, or if it was just like a stinger or what. But yeah, he got injured during that match.
I do quite like the little storyline though between Street Profit and Cesaro and Shinsuke.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Just please, can I never see again? I said this about 2 months ago, and it still stands true now. I don't want to see Street Profits and Andrade and Angel Garza anymore. Jesus Christ, they just.
Well, you're not going to see that anymore because Angel seems to be running away from everyone.
Yeah, that's true. It's just that they've got so many. Okay, well, yeah, they've had 9 matches. 9 matches since July the 20th.
Well, yeah,
together.
I know. No, I understand. I've been saying about it as well.
It just, I just don't. Yeah,
it looks like now you're gonna have Angel and Andrade fighting one another.
If they want to do that, they should do that. That's great.
Which is a shame because I was quite liking the duo sort of thing. You got 2 wrestlers, get them do single stuff. You don't have to be a tag team.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when
just adding to our fucking management.
Especially when they're like crying out for single stars at the moment. Yeah, the iconic stuff. The iconic stuff is just sort of, I don't know, a bit disappointing. I'm a bit worried.
Honest, they're not also the best duo to be working together because they've just started to proper hone in their moves. They're still a bit lacking a little bit in some parts. So it was a little bit lacking in bits where you could see they weren't fully going right into it, and you could see where it's a bit sloppy.
Yeah, it's true. And it's like they've basically worked as a tag team their entire careers at this point. So they've only just been coming into single stardom. You're right.
So
obviously the show ended with the Mysterio family beating down Buddy Murphy, which was a great match. I think Dominic looked great. And
the bit that I just loved, it was the fact that when Buddy came down from his theme tune, and you got Mysterio's daughter just lifts up the thing. She's going to jump in right now. What the fuck?
Yeah,
she's ready. She's ready to pounce.
I love that. The close of the show of them just wailing on him with those kendo sticks was just hilarious. I thought it was so funny.
At the time being, I got a feeling is Dominic's mum was thinking, "You wait till I get Seth."
Yeah, but we're continuing on with Seth and Dominic next week. So hopefully, I don't know when this is going to end, but hopefully soon. It's been going on.
The other good thing about Raw though was Retribution got to talk.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, Retribution got to talk. They have their own logos, their own NWO-esque style logos and stuff, because apparently they hire graphic designers as well now.
No, WWE just likes to cash in on anything they can.
Yeah.
This group's invaded us. Let's cash in on them. Let's make money out of them while we can.
It was very clearly Dominik Dijakovic and a few other of NXT guys in there, but it was what it was. It was fine. I've been asking for a while for them to actually want something, and people. I think Russo's been saying the same thing. I've heard Russo.
Everyone's now been saying. I was saying it as well. I don't think we just got this and going on. By now, we should be hearing from him on having something.
I've heard like Jim Ross, Cornette, Russo, all them all say this week. Basically, if you have a terrorist group taking over someone or keeping someone hostage, they generally have demands, and Retribution's just not clearly wanted anything up until now.
Yeah, but even the announcers after that bit happened, after their promo, I said, well, at least we finally now know what they want. And you've even acknowledged it on your own show now.
What's funny is it's taken them this long to realise no one knows why they're here. Yeah. NXT.
I really enjoyed it. It's my favourite show.
I think
started off with an amazing match, ended with a great match, had a few things in between.
Yeah, I think the opening match, Adam Cole Finn Balor was very, very, very good. And I think Finn finally winning is exactly what should have happened. I'm so glad he did that.
And then, though, I had mixed emotions with the Bronson Reed and Austin Theory's match because they made Austin, who's fucking phenomenal, for a big chunk of this match look stupid. Yeah. Then just before the very end, looked like he's seeing sense and his stupidness, just to make him look very stupid at the very end and crush his spinal cord to bits.
Yes.
So I got a bit eerie with that. I also really enjoyed the stuff to do with is her name Knox? Basically, the Johnny Gargano household.
Oh yeah, that was all good.
The way they went through all of that was just freaking fantastic.
Yeah, so
especially with Johnny looking at the TV at the very end of it all.
I love this. I love going to the Gargano household. Like, I love this whole idea of.
Like, I am waiting for them to do a proper cinematic match through the Johnny Gargano household.
Yeah, they've got to at some point. That would have been perfect for NXT in your house, wouldn't it?
Well, they used that for an entrance for him, didn't they?
Yeah. And then see the main event. There's still cage match: Rhea Ripley versus Mercedes Martinez. I love.
You know what? I bet they finally loved it for the fact that we finally have two women where we can actually be able to put them through a table instead of saying, that nice young light female really over there, that skinny, what's really skinny. I'm gonna try and put her through and have bounce off.
How many times have we seen who was it?
Tried to push Sasha
and Charlotte, yeah. Sasha and Charlotte.
First chance that women getting a Hell in a Cell match. It's what 4 or 5 times that they tried to put Sasha through the thing.
So embarrassing, yeah. And then
it's not even since then. It's like NXT did it. Yeah. I think with me, Yim, and Candice.
Yeah.
And Candice didn't quite go through the table properly.
And then you've got Mandy Rose who can't even pick up a table, in the main roster. Yeah.
But you remember, she's not quite used to those kind of matches, though, is she? So,
no, it's true. No, I really enjoyed this. I think, and do you know what? Once again, I think NXT and AEW being on 2 separate days of the week benefits both of them. They can both focus on themselves, not hot shot book everything. They've both been getting good ratings over the past few weeks, whilst they've not been going head to head.
Do we see who wins? Do we see who wins next week then? Shall we?
Are they back head to head? I think they are, aren't they?
Yeah, they're only NXT were only doing it for 2 weeks.
See, it's just silly. Actually, no, we don't know if AEW is going to be on Wednesday yet because it all relies on the basketball fixtures as to who wins this weekend, as to whether AEW is on Wednesday or Thursday.
Great TV deal. They have the great TV deal.
Yep. Basketball takes priority. But you think AEW this week broke 1 million? NXT's been hitting 850,000, 875,000 for the last couple of weeks, while they've been not up against one another. So it works for both of them if they just take different days. But anyway, talking of AEW, I think I love that opening to the show. I'm not gonna lie, I thought that was so funny. Just MJF and Christian. That was very being the elite, weren't it?
I gotta admit, I was very waiting for them both to turn around and get ready to say something. I wasn't expecting them to call each other a loser, but I was expecting a bit worse than that.
Yeah, I thought they tried to not keep it, try to keep it PG and not be like fucking assholes as they walked away.
Right, they haven't bothered with any other show.
That's true. Yeah, no, I like this. I thought there was a lot on this show of just filler matches, though. I thought the non-matches were very, very good in developing stories. I thought the matches were just sort of there for no reason, really.
I loved the 2 segments between Kenny Omega and Hangman.
Yeah, I thought they were great. The sit-down segments, the old we used to get with JR back in WWF. I love that. I think it's great. I think Hangman.
JR's got to be careful though. In his past things, he used to get beaten up or set on fire.
Set on fire. Yeah, I think I kept seeing that on Twitter. People going, "Go on, set him on fire." Can he set him on fire? Yeah, I did like. I loved Hangman, just saying, "Oh, well, I realize I'm poison."
Yeah.
And Kenny sort of, I think they're building this extremely well. I didn't,
Hangman to knock Kenny out. Yeah.
yeah, yes. I didn't quite understand the Young Bucks super kicking Alex Marvez, but okay.
No, not really.
I get that they're obviously turning heels, but the Young Bucks don't do heel very well. But whatever.
Well, that's no. They'll just be following Kenny around like they always
They
do.
always do. That's true. Yeah, I didn't really get that all too much.
Have we still yet found out the answer if Cody's still part of the elite or not?
No, he's not. Right. I only this week is when I got the answer to that, when they uploaded images of the elite, of who the elite is and was.
Oh, don't tell me it's the original three again, yeah?
It was the Bucks, Hangman, and Kenny, and then obviously after all out, they've now like cut Hangman away from it. That was the images that they put up on their website. So yeah, they've Cody is just not a part of it, and you're not supposed to pretend as though he's not even ever been a part of it. Apparently, that's very WWE. Yeah, like I said, there's lots of just matches. Like they were good because AEW does matches good, but it is what it is. They're obviously teasing something between the Lucha Bros, but then you had Kip Sabian announce his best man. He brought in two different people, and then Rusev. And as we just talked about, it was very underwhelming. I kind of expected him to come in and tear shit up.
You could have had such a more bigger impact with him where he just came in and just fucked up John Moxley.
Yeah, he could have annihilated Moxley or whatever. It's weird though. Like now, when you look at who's holding all of their titles, it's all WWE guys. Moxley holding the AEW, Brody holding the TNT, and FTR holding the tag. Oh, other than the women's, yeah, literally all the men's titles have all been held by WWE guys, which isn't maybe the best look, but
I got me actually. The women's match in this one actually annoyed me.
Go on.
Because Taylor, she just basically signed her first contract. That's great. She's going up against the monster in the women's division. Why does Vicky then have to make her thing look weak by then attacking? Just do what Paul Heyman does. Be in a fucking voice piece. If you need to, distract the referee. But do not lay the hands on a thing when you have a monster fucking client.
Yeah, she shouldn't need. Yeah, you're right. She shouldn't need. Paul Heyman's never trying to cheat for Brock to win or Roman to win. That's never happening. Yeah, no, I agree. We had there was quite a lot of promos, wasn't there? MJF cut a thing. Obviously, they're now teasing something between him and Wardlow, which I quite like. Moxley had a cool little promo about Lance Archer.
Lance Archer and Jake did their bit.
Yeah, I think that they've got a lot of cool little things going. My worry now is they're going to fill up their TV time with just filler matches again, which they weren't doing before. Before they kept on making everything mean something. So I'm hoping they stop doing that, because outside of the matches, I really thought AEW was great in developing future stories. But yeah, the matches just don't really add anything.
Yeah.
But I think next week they're doing the same thing. They've announced like 5 matches for the card, which, other than the the Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy match, doesn't really mean anything. But yeah, it is what it is.
Well, they had a great main event. I'll give them that.
Brody Lee and Dustin, yeah, that was very good. I really enjoyed that.
Which then also made you ask the question of what went wrong with Cody.
Yeah, it impresses me so much that Dustin Rhodes at his age is still moving like he can and working like he can. It's really incredible.
No, it's called a certain former WCW wrestler who decided to make up his own yoga.
Yeah. But yeah, we know that AEW's ratings were the highest of the year that they got by far. So it was 1.016 million, which is up from 928,000 the week prior. It's their third highest viewership ever, but the highest for 2020.
And who might win the Wednesday night battles next week?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. Next week,
potentially NXT, because at least we know they're on next Wednesday.
That's very true. Yeah, because if you notice, on all of the promos for AEW, it just says next week, next week, next week. At no point to say next Wednesday like it normally does. Yeah, they all say next. Oh, that's such a bad way of managing a show. But there we are. So SmackDown.
Well, it started off with a pop, didn't it?
Yeah. I think Roman and Paul Heyman did an incredible job opening the show, and Jay, who knew Jay Uso was actually going to become a single star this year. It's incredible.
Well, I know both Usos could be amazing single wrestlers because I think they're both fucking phenomenal.
I'll say so.
People say the Young Bucks are the best tag team wrestlers in the world. No, they're fucking not. The Usos are.
But I'll say this, you know damn well that come that pay-per-view, Roman Reigns is just going to run through Jey Uso.
What happens if it's suddenly we all get shocked in the world? Uso knocks him before Jey knocks him the fuck out.
The Fiend interferes and Roman actually loses the title. That'd be interesting.
I got a feeling the Fiend's getting himself a girlfriend, so he's going to be busy.
I'll say this, I really enjoyed that opening. I hated that dance thing they do, which you normally moan about, and now because you moan about it, it's got into my head where they just threw a tag team match together out of nothing for the main event.
I'd normally moan that they go from having a segment and then straight into a tag team match.
Oh yeah, but also, well, I mean, I hate pointless matches, and it could not have been more pointless than whatever the fuck came out of here. Baron Corbin and Sheamus versus Jey and Roman. I didn't mind the main event.
The problem is they need to do something with Sheamus, unfortunately, because at the moment they're telling the story that Big E's not here. So Big E and Sheamus are continuing their rivalry on.
Yeah, but they didn't need to be involved in this whatsoever. It's just that pisses me off. Just throwing together matches.
Truth is, though, I did enjoy the match because Jey Uso looked fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, I enjoyed the match, and the purpose of the match was to try and make Jey Uso look good. I enjoyed that, but still, I hate that they just do that thing where someone just interrupts someone, and then it's like, "Oh, match time!" Can I have a match then tonight because you interrupted me? It's so done to death. I loved Sami Zayn in the control room, sending them to
don't pull that.
Well, that's great, and then him getting kicked out of the off the Titantron by Adam Pearce at the beginning of the match.
Well, didn't he? Adam Pearce, whatever he does, he's just fucking useless. He needs to be sacked.
Yeah, he's pretty shitty at his job, really. Yeah, so Sammy comes back, DQ happens, and then he tries to attack Jeff Hardy later in the trainer's room, and doesn't go so well for him.
Yeah, but I'm also just the way when Jeff Hardy collapses, and then our answer for it is we were dehydrated. Have a drink.
Yeah.
Well,
weird, bit bizarre.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, I did enjoy that Sami Zayn stuff. It's quite fun. But I think my highlight of the show, which I said to you before, was probably Bayley.
Yeah, I'm loving Bayley at the moment.
I thought that was really, really good. And like saying, basically, I turned on her before she could do it to me because I know she was using me, and I was using her too. I love that. It was great.
Thing is, there's a little part of me that's hoping that actually Sasha comes back at the thing, costs her the belt. Nikki Cross has it because those two right now could have a 3-month rivalry without having the championship involved.
Yeah.
And whoever wins out of their rivalry can then go back after the title.
Yeah, you're right. And then, talk about Nikki Cross, we lead into the top contender match, which was Nikki Cross, Tamina, Lacey Evans, Alexa. Where we had Alexa go nuts.
No offense, Bayley decided. No offense, Nikki Cross went for hell in this match. If I'm honest, she got battered by Bayley by a chair to start with.
Yes, true. But yeah, she Alexa Bliss hit Nikki with the Sister Abigail. Very good Sister Abigail, I might add.
And then left.
And then just left. And Nikki Cross picked up the win somehow. But so I was good. I'm as you say, I'm happy with the idea of Nikki Cross.
Yeah.
And Bayley running on the story. But yeah, we also had a Firefly Funhouse where we introduced Wobbly Walrus, which is Paul Heyman. This was one of the most.
I was really hoping Bayley, not Bayley. Oh God, I'm forgetting names today. Bliss would show up.
Yeah, I think she will do it at some point. I think you're going to see
Asking
her.
where the Fiend, asking where the Fiend was.
Yeah,
I don't want
I
to
think
be
you're going to
brave.
see
Where's
her.
the Fiend? There's the Fiend.
Yeah, I think you're going to see her appear at some point in the Firefly Funhouse. I
do
really
hope.
enjoyed
You know what? I do hope she gets her own mask.
Well, that'd be interesting. Yeah, that'd be interesting. That'd be cool. Yeah. But other than that, we had the main event, which so it was good. It was good for what it was supposed to do, which was to get Jay over and make Roman look like an arsehole, by not turning up at the beginning and all that. I think that worked
Well,
perfect.
at least she showed up, and half the time they don't.
Yeah.
How do you look like an arsehole for that?
No, but that was the whole point, wasn't it? Like the fact that he didn't show up and all that. So it's good. It was done exactly the two jobs it was supposed to do: make Jay look good and make Roman look like a dick.
I thought Roman was fine.
But that was the point of it, to make him look like a dick, and it kind of did by him not showing up, for his partner, his cousin.
Problem is, though, this is going to
And then
backfire from the
snatching it
Night of
away from him
Champions.
at the end.
It's also going to be a problem for Roman when he gets to the Night of Champions, because so far he hasn't done a full match right now. And if he's doing a one-on-one match, he's got to start at the beginning. What they're going to scare me about is that what they're going to start doing with Roman now is do a Goldberg thing, and his match is going to last like 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Yeah, I mean, I think that could be quite likely, to be honest.
But I'd like to see Roman wrestle because he's quite good.
I agree. No, I agree. I very much agree. But I think
I don't think I quite want another Goldberg.
No, you're right. You are right. But as I said earlier, I genuinely believe it's completely opinion, but I think that they're going to have him just completely annihilate Jay, as you say, in like under 5 minutes and move on. Which I don't really like. I don't really want to see that, but I think that's what they're going to do. I'd much prefer to see them have a really good match and make Jay look good.
Roman's already stated that he's going to beat him. So
yeah. But anyway, that was this week in wrestling. It's been quite a decent week. We're getting back into the flow of shows actually running in front of crowds and being semi-normal at least. Anyway, head over and follow us on Twitter at SEW_podcast. Like and subscribe to us here on this channel. And we'll see you next time for another video. We are out.